This is the greatest tennis player there ever was, with probably the best two-handed backhand ever.
Oh, what a shot. A magnificent stroke.
And this is me, an amateur advanced club player who likes to share his passion for tennis online. In this video, I'm comparing his backhand to my, well, crappy backhand and see what similarities are there and where are the key differences. So guys, a little backstory to my backhand. It was so bad back in the days. When I was a junior, it was so bad that I either shanked it into the net or straight across into the wall. But I really worked a lot on my backhand and it has gotten way better over the years. Still to this day it is my weakest shot, but it has gotten way better, especially indoors, where the ball is not bouncing that high. And I always, when I tried to improve my backhand, I always came back to the backhand of Novak Djokovic and what he is doing right and what I don't, and try to implement stuff he is doing right into my game. Now let's start with the side-by-side comparison. If I forget something or if you find something that I don't mention, please let me know in the comments. Let's start with the comparison. How do we prepare our backhands? I think this is the biggest similarity in our backhand, but also the part where I already mess up, even though you probably do not see it in the first few seconds. Novak did change his backhand a little bit over the years. He has a very strong unit turn where his chin is almost resting over his right shoulder. This gives him a lot of rotational power. Also, what Novak does with his hands is very important as well. He holds his racket high while also creating a lot of space between his body and his racket, giving him also a lot of power for his shot. On my side, I also have a good rotation in the upper body. Not as much as he has, but that is still very good. My racket is not as much away from the body, but I hold it more upright than he does, which should also help me to create leverage for more speed. Now when we look at the legs, we can clearly see that Novak has a bigger base than I have, giving him more stability over the shot. Also, you will see what happens after the contact, which makes this even more important. The racket drop, or racket lag as some call it, is important to create the upward motion and therefore create spin. In this stage my backhand starts to break down. Novak on the one side stays very low with a good base and his hips still look at the fever tree banner. He creates forward movement and he watches the ball very closely. Also his right foot stays solid on the ground, which is very good for his shot stability. So on the other side, well, there is me, already moving up and almost back. The back of my right foot in the air losing already stability. And also my hip almost looking forward. This is the start of a disaster, or in my case a short backhand or a mistake. But this is getting worse. The funny thing is that even now, watching it back and forth 100 times, I will be sure I will make this mistake again and again and again. Guys, I'm very interested. Is there any mistake you make in tennis over and over again and you know exactly what that is? Comment down below. The contact point itself looks very good on both sides in my opinion. Novak is hitting the ball more closer to his body, which gives him more control and the ability to guide the ball to the other side. Fantastic. His body is still very low, his right foot is still grounded and his hips are almost in the same position, slightly turned forward. His chest is facing the racket and he's keeping his eyes on the ball. And then there is me again on the other side. While the contact point is almost perfect, the rest is pretty bad. My right leg is straight, which makes me lose completely control over the movement of my body. If you watch my face, I already look forward to where I want to hit the ball instead of watching the ball. And my chest and hips are already more open, which makes the whole thing even worse. Before we continue, I want to ask you, if you like this kind of video, where I completely break down my own game and also the game from the pros. Be sure to leave me a like or a comment down below. And maybe you want to see another shot like the serve or the volley. Please let me know in the comments. The misery continues with the follow through, but before we break mine down, we have to talk again about Novak. He does an excellent job of uncoiling his legs and moving his body forward. He also has a very long follow through as he guides the ball to where he wants to. He still stays low to the very end of the shot and only stands up in the last portion of his swing. Now, should I even continue talking? I mean, you can clearly see the misery, which is my backhand. On my part, I am completely off balance, going backwards and up as I want to lift the ball. That is bad, guys, so bad. I also have a shorter swing path here. That is not really an issue, I believe, but I wanted to point it out. This backhand shot was either short or a mistake, I'm not remembering it. But I think it's clear now why my backhand is my weakest shot, and especially under pressure that it breaks down a lot. Now, the backhand we saw in this video was in the beginning of this season. My backhand has gotten way better in the last couple of months. Still, of course, it has some issues. Now that I'm using the Speed Legend, it's looking way more like Novak than it has. I'm a little bit proud, to be honest. In this video, you can see that I have way better stability with my legs, I rotate more on my unit turn, still not enough, and I move forward with commitment. I still make the same mistakes with my backhand as I did in the first video, but you can clearly see I am improving. Give it a like or a dislike if you think that I have improved my backhand in the last couple of months. I can clearly see my backhand did improve over the past few months where I tried to improve my backhand more and more. But it's still nowhere near as good as the man who completed tennis. We all have a weakness and that is fine. The important thing is that we always try to improve something in our game, as we should do in every part of our life. If you stayed this long and you haven't subscribed, please leave us up. And if you have more time and you want to master your serve, maybe watch this video next.